the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just.
Celebrate this event and to raise awareness for aphasia and to have some fine food and listen to some great music.
And the belief that God was laying out the path for her. I said she's going to
go back now that I have some direction. It sure would be nice to be back home where there's love and affection.
Aphasia affects more than 1 million Americans, many of whom are mistaken for being intoxicated or mentally disabled due to the effect on their speech and inability to process language.
Renee and I were talking about a variety of things, and she had gotten involved with aphasia and some of the programs. And she told me all about it, which is very heart-rendering. But she also shared with me the fact that she had a stroke a number of years ago, and she truly experienced the impact of aphasia. And we've had some very important conversations over that subject. And then one day she told me, you know what, Dom? I am so committed to aphasia, and my experiences were so significant in not being able to communicate the way I wanted to friends and family, that I'm going to run a telethon. I'm going to produce a telethon.
Did anyone ever feel shattered and have everything all over the place, and you didn't know how you're going to pick it up? And when you have a stroke, you don't know how to pick it up.
A disorder that affects the language centers of the brain, caused by a stroke, caused by head injury, a tumor, an infection, or dementia, that allows people to have difficulty in speaking and writing and communicating in general. And quite frankly, I knew very little about aphasia quite a while ago.
I took my speech from my therapist for 2.5 years, and finally I could say something. But my wife, I could.
With his wisdom, sat me down so many times. You have no idea how many times he sat me down and he said, well, we'll come back and we'll revisit that, but I want you to think about it. And he made me do the work and learn the process. And then if I go back to him and I'd say, well, what do I do about this? He goes, well, what did I teach you? What principles did I teach you? Go back to the principles I taught you and learn what they are, because I can't be there forever for you. So I'm gifted. I'm gifted for the Wanakee world. I'm gifted for all of you, and I'm gifted for Dom, because I finally learned, and now I'm learning what my real purpose is, now that I've gone through that. And it's hard. I mean, some days are harder than others. Some days, you know, especially when I get tired, I get that aphasia. I get where I can't think. And that's a big part, you know, sometimes. But I've learned through Dom's principles, so don't deal with it. Tell them you can't deal with it right now. Tell them they have to wait. There's nothing wrong in telling them that. Be honest. Speak from your heart. Speak from your heart. Suddenly my world's gonna change its face, but I still know where I'm going. I have had my mind spun around in space, yet I've watched it grow.
This inborn desire to be a part and support, okay, has made a brotherhood of man. And she has spearheaded this fundraiser, as Tom said. If we are here, it's because a universal power is guiding us towards a purpose, helping members of aphasia, which is, and I quote again, a language disorder caused by an injury to the brain and affects a person's ability to communicate. To communicate. And what a better way to do it than through music, which has no boundaries and speaks the language
I have had my mind spun around in space, yet I've watched it growing. No, if you're listening, God, please don't make it hard to know that we should believe the things that we see. Tell us, should we try to stay or should we run away? Would it be better just to let things be?
Renee told me to have a speech prepared. I said, "Oh, okay." I looked at the 7:30 to 8:15, and the first name was Renee, and the third name was me. But in the second name was speaker and singer. I prepared for that.
A wonderful, wonderful human being that has, thank you, that has throughout her life done the very, very best to support all the people, to give them the love that they all deserve, because she thrives in giving, in being compassionate. This is her life. This is who her
right-hand turn
is.
On 2nd Avenue in Wanacue, because there's construction on Ringwood Avenue, and I wanted to get around the construction. So when I made that right-hand turn, who was standing on the sidewalk on 2nd Avenue but Renee on her phone? So I stopped to make sure she was okay and to ask her how the telethon was going. And we talked about it, and as usual, she was very enthusiastic, very excited. And she said, "Oh, by the way, I'd like you to say a few words tonight," okay? So I said, "Well, let me think about that, since I'm just being told about it." So I said, I probably will, but I'll get back to you a little later. And as we were parting, she said to me, "You know why you made that right-hand turn on 2nd Avenue?" I said, "The traffic. I mean, what else?" She said no, in her normal spiritual way. She said, "God made you make that turn."
But we are going to have a telethon. But, you know, sometimes you have to go, well, that's not going to work. Let's switch gears and let's do it here. So we've begun to contact the Oprah Winfrey Show. Right? She's got a new channel. Jerry Lewis is not doing his telethon anymore. It's the right time to do a telethon on the Oprah's channel. Her ratings are not the best right now, and it takes many years to get a channel in gear. So it's not about her not doing her thing. It just takes time for people to... She had to dedicate her energy to a regular show, but now she's refocusing it. So it's a perfect time. So I've even emailed and called Gail King, her friend, to let her know. So we are going to be in contact. And let me share another little story. Bill, when I was on the phone with him today, told me that the Adler's Aphasia Center is already in contact with Oprah Winfrey. So all the pieces are coming together. So we are going to make this happen.
What I have written is, it is always a privilege to be present and involved in an event where all come together for the enrichment of humanity.
Thanks, Mom.
But I also believed that with her passion, her commitment, her energy, her drive, and the belief that God was laying out the path for her. I said she's going to do it.
Thank you, Dom. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just.
Turn your heartache right into joy. Well, she's a girl and you're a boy. It's getting